Hello, 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 and welcome to our 33rd Techspressionism virtual salon. I am your host and moderator, Davo Bradley. Joining me is Colin, who coined the term Techspressionism. Nina, David, and Lindsay are presenters for today, and our wonderful audience of other artists, art appreciators. It's gonna be a great day, I think. This is our last virtual salon for the year. That's exciting. We've been at this for a full year now, or actually a little over a full year now. And we started during the pandemic of last year, and we're still in a pandemic, but it's okay. We're artists, and we'll keep going. We'll keep creating. And it's happy holidays. Yes, I'm sorry. My wife had to remind me to let everyone know happy holidays because we have a lot during this month at the end of the year. So many, actually. But if you are celebrating right now, happy holidays. So if you are new here, the general structure for our salons is that we open with our presentations, our three presenters. Not entirely sure if we're going to do our format where we'll have a presenter, then Q&A, or just have all three presenters and then a Q&A. We do change things up sometimes, but if there is no preference, we'll still just have the presentation and then a Q&A session after that, and then next presentation Q&A, presentation Q&A.
And there's a couple people I think that wanted to give a little quick presentation once the main presenters are over with too. So
yeah, so we have that. I think Lee Schneiberg is one of the, or no, not Lee. Okay. He's shaking his head at me. But yes, there are a couple of people that wanted to share a little bit about their craft and their work, some things that they're working on, just a little tidbit. And then that'll be that. Thank you for coming. Thank you for spending your afternoon/evening with us, depending on what type of part of the world you're in. Because I know we do have some international folks that are here. And with that, I guess we'll get started with our first presenter, with David.
Hello, Can you hear me?
Yep, you have the floor.
Okay, I'm David Bloom. I'm located in Birmingham, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. I'm a new artist. It's really cool to be here. I stumbled on technology as a way of elevating and adding to and augmenting the work that I'm doing. There's not a huge body of work, but I will kind of take you through how I got to the whole technology thing and the project that involved technology and music. And then I'll talk a little bit about the Zip Us Up collaborative art project that we just completed in Birmingham. It was a national art project, a collaborative public art project with 40 artists from around the country. So with that, let me share my screen to make sure I'm sharing sound. Okay, that's clicked. Okay, can you guys see? Can you all see?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, so this is kind of where, how do I move this out of the way? This is where my art as an adult started, and my art's kind of based on connection and love and the universe and vibration in the universe. This is my first painting. It's two hearts joined together, and it's connected with the zipper. And then the zipper opens. There's a man's suit fabric and a woman's dress fabric, and then there's a painting behind it. So that's kind of where things started. This ended up going out to a show at the Palos Verdes Art Center. I was really 2 years ago. I was really excited about it, and I spent like months working on this. And this I did in a few days, and I loved it so much. And it was an accident. It was supposed to be. These color spectrums supposed to represent vibration in the universe from infrared or longer waved light to higher frequency, shorter wavelengths. And it was going to be colors all the way across. And I was in a hurry to finish, to submit this to a competition. And so I had put masking tape on everything, and I pulled the tape up, and I was going to do a second round of colors in between here. And I liked it so much, I said, I'm done. I don't want to add anything because I might wreck it. I'm just happy. So I and this is what it looks like when it's fully open. I liked it so much that I did another one. And it wasn't as hard, it wasn't as much work to do as the other one. And then I added a 3-dimensional sine wave to it. And I called this painting Vibe because it was about vibration in the universe, and it's also an acronym. It means something else. And again, it's basically about vibration in the universe. And this was my first take on it. Like a month or two later, I thought, well, gee, if this painting is vibe and it's about vibrations, then can I make this thing vibrate? So can we put, and I have, there's 10 colored stripes on here. And I came up with the idea, well, what if we put 4 bass guitar strings and 6 guitar strings on here, which would get to 10, and could we do something? So I knew a man named Robert Wilson, who owns Wilson Violins. He sells violins, rents them, repairs them, and other stringed instruments. I took it to him, and he's as crazy as I am. He also makes electric violins. So he said, well, let's find out. So we said, well, first we got to prototype it, because if you're actually putting real strings on here, it's under a lot of tension. It can break things, it can bend things. So we built he built a prototype. This is our first prototype that he built. There's a tuning machine on there. We then went to a second prototype to look at the structure of it. And that worked. This is the prototype surrounding the painting. This was Vibe was a 36-inch high by 48-inch wide work. So that's the prototype there. We then built, he then built it's basically the instrument part, and it's a cocoon that the painting slides into. It slides in here. And these are the tuning machines. This is what it looked like when the painting was inside. We then painted it, selected the paint for it. And he had the idea of putting lights in, and this is doing some construction work on it in his shop. This is putting the strings on. This is what the frame looks like. And then we started experimenting with LED light and putting it in here. And you'll note that the LED light, it's not a straight beam of light like you would, or a bar like you would have like a neon light. There are these dots. And then here's the remote for the LED light. And this is the painting close to being finished on the easel at the shop. This just shows you, I mean, these pieces here are designed to brace it. So there was a lot of construction and engineering that went into this. You'll also see this over here, this wiring over here. These are sound pickups that were custom made for the project. I had originally wanted to use like electronic guitar pickups. It was too hard to do. So we decided to go with piezoelectric pickups, which would basically pick up the vibrations. And I found a company, and I was trying to figure out which of their products to use because they had different ones. It was K&K Sound in Oregon. I called them up and asked for some technical support, and I told them what I was trying to do, and I sent them photo, and they said, well, send us some photos. So I sent them photos and some information. And they said, no, you're not going to use what we have on the market. We're going to make something for you. So they actually made a custom pickup set consisting of 3 separate microphones to pick up the vibrations that are installed on the back of the painting. This is the painting with the light, and then, or the frame, and then the sound pickups there. And these actually, these pickups attach to the frame here, these cross beams that brace the painting. We started, when I talked about the LED light, I didn't like the bright dots. We wanted to smooth it out and make it look more like neon. So we experimented with a bunch of different materials, and you can see this is one of our experiments. The other thing you'll also see is that the wood is going straight across the wood frame, and we ended up putting in some frets at the top and the bottom here to protect the frame. This is the painting again, and you can see the dots that I wasn't particularly happy about. And then we started experimenting with putting some material in the gap here to smooth it out. And so that's why it looks like this here. So you can see that. This is the amplify. I went to a few amplifier stores, ended up experimenting with big amps, small amps. This is the amplifier I ended up getting. It's a $300 Yamaha amplifier, and you can adjust the sound on it. It's got different modes, and it's portable. It's pretty cool, and I thought it went well with the project. This is a bottom shot of the painting, and it shows where the jack goes in to connect to the amplifier. It also comes with a radio receiver to remotely broadcast instead of using a cord if you want to do that. These are the different microphone controls. So there's to control the sound from this side and this side, because this side it's higher frequency. It's kind of like the left-hand side of a piano and the right-hand side. So the sound is more pronounced from this side because the notes are deeper. Sound is less pronounced here, so it allows to adjust the sound coming from each side of it. And then that's the power switch. This is kind of what the painting looks like finished. And you can see the frets that we put on the top and the bottom here. And these strings are all tunable. And that's kind of a side, kind of an angle view of it. And you can see the cord coming out. And interestingly, this was part of the painting before, the sine wave. And so I used the red cord. So it kind of looks like the wave is continuing into the cord, which I think is kind of cool. And then this is my next iteration of Vibe. We're working on it now. It's going to have 48 guitar strings on it. It's going to have 24 in the bottom and 24 on the top. And then the strings will terminate in the middle. And if it comes out, I'm hoping it's kind of going to look like a suspension bridge. Hopefully it'll be cool if we can pull it off. And then this is some experimentation that we did for better framing and diffusion of the light. We purchased a bunch of different things, and we're trying to, there's been a lot of experimentation to figure out the best way to build this thing. So that's my Vibe. And then let me play this for you. Let me move this over. Hopefully you can hear. This is just a 20-minute clip. How many people can recognize what this is? Anybody recognize that?
Goldfinger.
Yeah, it's a James Bond thing. So, and there was, I borrowed, I didn't purchase it, but I borrowed a pedal to connect to the amplifier. So it was a loop pedal, so you could have sound in the background while this was played over. And this was played by a musician that getting his PhD, and he works in the violin shop. So that's kind of Vibe. And then what I'm working on next. Then what I did was I started last summer. Everybody remembers kind of how traumatic everything was with what happened with George Floyd and the whole election season, which was kind of horrible. So I wanted to do something to make a difference. So I created this project called Zip Us Up, and it's a collaborative art project. And what we did is, and this kind of goes back to what I was doing before with the zippers, These are zippers made by a Swiss manufacturer, Riri. We made up 40 panels of art, 40 canvases connected by zippers. This is 18 inches high. Most of the panels are 57.5 inches long. One or two are shorter, and then a couple are 76 inches long. We picked through a cafe called for art. We chose 40 artists from around the country. Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers was one of our judges. Barbara Hellers, who's the director of the Detroit Institute of Arts. David Chung, who is the director of the University of Michigan's Master of Fine Arts program. We had a pastry chef. We had the architect for the library involved. And so we had a very diverse panel. We had an African-American art gallery owner. We had an artist from Syria as one of our judges, and we put together a diverse project team and then a diverse panel of judges. And then we picked our 40 artists. We sent them, we made the canvas panels here in Michigan. Mr. Park volunteered to do all the sewing and didn't charge us and worked over the 4th of July weekend. This is Laura Host, who's also an artist and an art teacher and a gallery owner. And so you can see all the different canvas panels that we had made. We mailed them to the artists around the country. We had about 17 or 18 artists from Michigan. We had 8 from California. We had 1 from Hawaii. They were from all over the country. This is one of the panels that came back. And then we told the artists that you can paint whatever you want as long as it's not offensive. And we told them that we wanted them to collaborate with the artists to the left and the right so that the paintings would connect. And it was kind of, the idea was a unity through diversity and collaboration art project. So that's kind of the art. This painting here was painted by an Iraqi immigrant to the United States. In it, he also painted a penny. You can't see it here, and it was a Lincoln penny and it had 1776 on it. I nearly cried when I saw it, to think that it turns out he's a Mason too. But just to think that an Iraqi immigrant would come here and he would be involved in this project about Union University, and then he would, put the 1776 painting in there, I thought was incredible. This artist is up here. This artist is in Florida, and you can see how they collaborated. These paintings look pretty seamless, and they were done by 2 different artists in 2 different places. This artist is in New Jersey, and this is in Royal Oak, this one, and you can see how the paintings kind of connect. This was installing the art in the library. Later on, we had another artist who said, let's put the artist names on there. So she came over to the library, and we put, she made panels out of the leftover canvas from the project and painted the artist names. So there's a panel in each window, and then the artist name is there, and they're painted different colors. This is kind of an overview of the project. It starts over here. It's 185 feet long. It wraps around the corner, and then it wraps around this side, and then it goes into the courtyard here with 40 panels of art. 40 is also an interesting number because it appears in the Bible quite a bit. The 40 days of the flood, the 40 years in the desert. Jonah was in the whale for 40 days. So there's a significance there. This is the south side of the project, and you can see how the paintings connect with each other. That's another view of the south side. This is the corner, the first corner, another shot of that. This is the east side corner again. This is inside. So even if you're in the project was designed to be seen from the outside of the library. We didn't want it interfering with the operation of the library, the light coming into the windows. So it's basically from the bottom of this wall up to these posts, and that's why it's 18 inches high. But I mean, this is art in and of itself in the library with the different colors and the artist names going across. This is the penny I was talking about before, and you can see how even on this side of it, I showed you the right side of the painting before, even how this side connects with the artist that's over on the left. And this is another collaboration you can see, going from the abstract into sea turtles and aquatic life. This is the northeast corner, the north side, closer up of the north side here, and then this is the northwest side going into the courtyard. And I will show you guys the video here. If you want to see it. Done with my drone. And that is the conclusion of my presentation, if there are any questions.
I have
All
one.
right. Thank you so much, David. Oh, and you already have a question.
Yeah.
Who's
wait.
Marlo?
Here.
Would you mind unsharing your screen, David?
Yeah, let me do that.
Actually, I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, David, I just wanted to ask if, number one, the end video, when you had the close-ups and you could really see how each panel worked with the
Right.
next one, that was really lovely. And music was a nice enhancement. Did the artists have an opportunity to meet one another one way or another after the process was complete and the panels had been brought together? I'm just curious because I love the synergy between the panels, and it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall if they did have discussions.
We had an opening here October 1st, and the project will be up and through the end of May.
Mm.
And one of the artists actually traveled from California to the opening. And what was really cool is she zipped up the last panel for us when we were installing it. We finished installing it literally 5 minutes to 11 when was our opening ceremony.
Wow.
That Friday. It was kind of a bear and a beast to get installed. A few of the artists knew each other. In order to get into the project, we had the artists write an essay about what it meant to be in the project. We didn't want somebody coming in the project that would be either too controversial, and we wanted to make sure the artists were going to collaborate. even so, some of the artists took to the collaboration like ducks to water. Others just wanted to do their own thing and they still weren't getting the project. So we had to have several rounds of meetings with the artists to kind of convince them and say, hey, because there's prize money involved too. There's the first prize is the best 3-panel collaboration. And then the second and third of the prizes are the best individual panels. So kind of had to take the best collaboration that one of the best ones that we saw in a few of them and say, hey, look at what some of your other artists are doing. You guys need to step up your game here. So, so we had to encourage that to happen. In a couple cases, we even encouraged the artists to meet. There was one artist that was a little older, that was kind of set in her ways. And we ended up getting them to meet, and they were talking about paint. And I said, well, one of you lives in one part of town and one of you lives in the other. Why don't you just take some paint over to the other artist? So they did. And then ended up improving it. And it ended up everybody that got pretty much everybody that got pushed came back and thanked us for pushing them. There was really only one artist that decided he wasn't going to collaborate with anybody. So the other people kind of painted around him. So it looks seamless. So yeah, it's mates and there's a lot of emails going back and forth between the artists. So I think some people made some good friendships.
And one other quick question, being someone involved in lighting a lot. Did you end up, what kind of material did you end up using to diffuse the light? Did you experiment with gels, lighting gels, or what do you decide on?
Yes, it was a lighting, it's a lighting gel, and it was an opaque gel that we used, and it's kind of jammed in there. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it works. If we had to take it out and replace it, it would be a pain in the neck. But that's what we used, and we experimented with different materials and different channels to try and diffuse the light in a different way of installing it. This painting, the vibe, the painting was there, and then the frame was built around it. The new one that we're doing, the paint, everything is integrated. So the design, it was designed, it's been designed for everything to fit together and for the lighting to be a part of it. So it's not even a stretch canvas anymore. It's canvas on three wooden plywood boards. So it's going to be a completely different construction. So we'll see how it works.
All right, well, thank you for that question, Marlo. Did anyone else have any questions for David here?
Yeah, I do, David. I'm really curious about your your background. When I was reading before, and at the beginning, you said that you came into art, and I'm wondering what it seems like you're bringing engineering and science into it, and I'm really curious about what are the elements, what your past, and how you got here.
Well, I work at Ford in the automotive industry and purchasing. I did work for an automotive engineering company. I'm not an engineer before that, selling engineering services. And I'm very involved in our city government. I've been involved with our library, with the building of this building, this new addition and some other renovation. So when I saw this building going up, I said, and I saw that wall there, I said, this looks like a painting canvas, because I was new to art. So I took that and the idea of the zipper and I combined everything. I had met someone that I fell in love with. And we were both into music, and she taught me a lot about vibration. So the idea of actually making this thing vibrate kind of came from that. If that helps you.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's really exciting. Where you're coming from and what you bring to this is really exciting, and it shows a real uniqueness. Your work reminds me, I kept on trying to remember the name. There's an artist up here in Canada who does a lot of stuff with lights and sound. His name totally escapes me. He's an outsider, but but I think it's really fantastic that you're blending all of these different aspects together. It's really exciting work. Thanks for
And
showing us.
the lighting didn't come, the idea of the lighting came from Mr. Wilson, who was working with me on this and who I went to for the violin stuff. So it's really been the work has been collaborative, right? And it's been iterative, which is kind of cool.
It's really exciting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lee. Did anyone else have any further questions for David? Going once, going twice. All right. I'm sure if anybody else has any questions, they'll come back to you after the other presentations. Maybe they're saving it. I don't know.
Sure,
Could be
I'm looking
ruminating.
forward to it. I hope I didn't go too long. I hope it
Oh
was.
no.
I haven't done this before, so
Oh no, you're fine. And your presentation was great.
thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your presentation. It was great. All right. And next up, we have Lindsay. You still here?
Yes, I'm still
All
here.
right.
Can you hear me? I have my earbuds in. I just want to make sure.
Yep, we can hear
Okay,
you.
cool. I hope
you ready to go?
everyone's, yep, I'm ready to go. I just want to say thanks to everyone for having me here. I don't know really any of you, so it's kind of a pleasure to be included in your group. So just want to say thank you.
Glad to have you.
Okay. All right. Let me just share this. And, oops. So I'm going to present some of my work. I'm going to introduce myself first. I actually have an art name that I go by, I have gone by for the past, I would say 6 years. It's called Infinite Mantra. I'm a yoga teacher, as well as an artist, as well as a teacher. And I studied business. I've done everything. I think if you're an artist, you pretty much do all kinds of things. So that's where really I am. So I'm not really going to read my my artist bio. I'm just going to tell you, but it's there. If anybody wants to see my presentation, I can easily send a PDF if anybody wants to have a look at it. I kind of made like a deck for everyone to kind of check it out. So basically, I'm from Canada. I'm from Nova Scotia. I lived abroad most of my life, and I started traveling, and my travels kind of limited myself to doing my fine arts, which is, if you can see behind me, I used to do a lot of fine arts. So I started traveling, teaching, and I started with photography, and I had a Wacom tablet, and I had Photoshop. So my journeys from traditional art turned me to tech art, digital art in 2005, when I was living in South Korea as a teacher. It was so forward thinking and so fast paced that it really kind of pushed me into the digital age. And also I think you call it a Xennial. I'm between Gen X and the millennials. So I'm like, at age 10, I had computers and I was using Microsoft Paint. So, I've always kind of been a digital artist because of where I kind of fit in that generational scheme. So I also studied marketing, and I have a master's in digital art. And I'm actually a certified teacher, as well as a yoga teacher. So I kind of, like I said at the beginning, I've done everything, and I still I just love art. And I got into the NFT space. I think that's one of the reasons I found Techspressionism was from Giovanna, because she and I met in the NFT space a few months ago. So my art is basically based on dreams and imagination and creativity. Like I said before, I'm a yoga teacher and meditation, and I'm really into like alchemy, spiritual aspects of everything. I even go to as far as saying, and I'm not afraid of saying this anymore, that I see visions of things. So I see a lot of things in my dreams, and I immediately create them in my art. And that's what I love about digital art. I can just get it out there so quickly because I have these fast flashes of visions, whether I'm doing it in a yoga practice or I see it in a dream. So I'm really excited to show you some of my work, and I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to show you my progression from when I started in the NFT space to kind of my progression through the NFT space and then my future collections as I kind of mapped out. So I hope you all enjoy what I'm going to show you. So these are collections I have on Foundation. And I just have a 3-piece collection there. They're sold out. I started with this, can you see this little cursor here, the little blue cursor? Yeah, okay, great. So this is my very first piece. I called it Cosmic Coalition. I do digital, I think my style is a surreal fantasy. I do digital collage and painting together. I just like take everything that I do and I just blend it together. So I want my visions to look, even if they're collage, I want them to look very real. So I take a lot of time to make sure everything is blended like perfectly in there so you can't see cut lines and stuff. I just want it to, you know, really fit the dream. So this is my very first piece that I minted back in February, and it's one of my favorite pieces. It's kind of about, you know, the power of the jaguar and how they're such mystical creatures. They're known well in like the indigenous cultures of South America. So there's a lot of spiritual symbolism in my work. There's pyramids. So you'll see a lot of repetitive elements within my work, and it's the way it is. That's how I want it to be. So that's this piece. The second piece is actually an ode to my stuffed animal as a child. I used to have a little jaguar, and this piece, I wish I could show you the animated version. It kind of breathes, it goes in and out, and it's kind of like you're watching a dream, and there's some animation in the background. It's actually in my bio, there's all kinds of links to my Foundation piece where you can see this, but this would be me in my dream world of me and my stuffed animal as a child. So that was this. And I'm very much into space and astronomy. There was a movie back in the 90s called, oh my God, I forget the name. It was with Jodie Foster. I forget the name. It was such a good movie, but she wanted to go to another star system. But I've always been inspired by like, does anybody know it?
Contact.
Yes, it was like my favorite movie. So it's still to date, every space movie, like I'm pretty much inspired by. So I would say that my art kind of turns into kind of concept work as I kind of progress onward. But yeah, that's what this is inspired by. And the background's actually from an old National Geographic magazine. So there's lots of cool little elements that I combined. This next piece I made for like a International Women's Day. This woman here is Empress Theodora of the Byzantine Empire, and she was really pro-woman, pro taking care of people, and so on and so forth. So I really wanted to embody her power. So that was the goal of this piece here. And yeah, there's lots of symbolism, stars. I do a lot of sacred geometry, just to kind of embody the most like divine elements of energy or a person or a being. So this is my known origin collection. You'll see it's slightly different, but I think you can still probably see my my signatures in it. I use a lot of clouds. I use a lot of line work. So this was to embody earth. There's a little earth inside the flower. Hummingbirds represent, you know, good luck. So a lot of the things that I create are messages to people, even if they don't know they're getting the messages. They're just to show some kind of, I'll keep saying the word energy or imprint, that so everybody might find something within the pieces that resonate for them, and it's supposed to be like that. So this one is definitely to represent the earth and the beauty that was found within the earth. And this piece, Ethereal Garden, I made kind of based off of, I had a lot of conversations during the time I was making this with friends about psychedelics and about just plant medicine and meditation. And so this piece really embodies like that state of being when you kind of find your yourself, your higher self. So when you find your higher self, it's usually through nature. It's usually a lot pure. It's not contrived. So there's all these elements within nature inside of us. So I call that ethereal garden. And of course, I still have elements of the moon and cosmic elements. So it's super important to me to add that. I will joke around and tell you I'm from another galaxy, but I don't care. This piece is called Uncovered. I made this for, actually I didn't make it for, I had it ready, and then there was an exhibition in New York called Mask Ephemera, and I called this Uncovered, and it suited well for the exhibition. The exhibition was for masks and different facades. So this is like uncovering of ourselves. So they go together as a collection in a way, because this is kind of within us, and same here, except this is the face or the mask taken off, or it could be the mask over us, but usually it's whatever is within us that I try to portray in my work. So yeah, and then I have more. I have another collection that I did on OpenSea, and these are editions that I've done. So some of them are still for sale, some of them are gone. But if any of you know the book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, it's my favorite book in the entire world. I actually taught several courses to children and high school kids as well about the book. And I dedicated, I do have more pieces to this collection, but I haven't minted them. But they're all representative of that book and what the book embodies. So everything I kind of do is just inspired by some sort of journey. And this book was like a very big impact on my life. So you have the alchemist here. He's actually walking through the desert, and just like the power that resonates in the sky. Here you have him going to the very end of the book where he finds the pyramids, finds the treasures. That's where the end of the book would be. And then you have the watcher, the Bedouin, watching over the people of the desert. And of course, there's lots of cosmic elements within all of them. I have one more collection that's minted, and it's a pretty big collection. I minted on Maker's Place. Most of them have to do, I call the collection Cloud Dreamers. And again, it's mostly about, you know, energies of lightness, of just being free. It's very fantasy based. I mean, if I could, I would live in my art. Like, I'm glad that it's in my head at least. So I do like to escape. So it's very much escapism. This is in the Pleiades, so you can see the star system. So I called it Star Seed. Just, you know, imagining yourself and the wonder of who you are and what's out there. That's what this represents. I really love this piece. This piece is called Breakthrough. I actually made this when I was going through a really tough time. So I always believe the highs and the lows are always there to teach you something. So the moment I actually made this, I broke through. So I first had called this breakdown to breakthrough, but I just took the breakdown. So breakthrough is what I called this. So you can see it's quite literal. She's breaking through herself, you know, breaking through limitless bounds that you might have. And this one's all in balance. This is actually made for an astrological event that happened in September, I believe. It's called All in Balance, and there was a new moon at the time, and you can see the moon phases. I'm just showing when I say all in balance, there's the scale here. If you know Libra season, it is a scale of up and down. So I made that to represent this energy during that time. I have two more in that specific kind of Cloud Dreamer collection, Door of the Clouds. I made this with, while I was listening to a singer in Clubhouse one night. Her name's Tara Naomi. I don't know if anyone knows her. She's a folk singer, but I was listening to her while she was singing, and I ended up creating this. And right now I have these two pieces exhibited in Hong Kong. So it's nice to see them on screen somewhere in a gallery. It's really cool, but they're both, again, this one's representative of like a place when you walk, if you're in the dream and you walk through this gate. So it's, again, very fantasy based, very, you know, spiritual. So if you were floating in a dream, that's kind of what I would like you to be. And this is a woman letting go, falling into the clouds, releasing a lot of, when you have a full moon, it means the end of something, or we always assume like the full moon is like the full flower. It's when everything is ready. So it's time to let go and time to kind of, you know, be present. So this is what this piece embodies. And I have 2 more pieces in the collection, and they are Cosmic Dreamer and Rebirth. I've sold this one, and this one is still available, and they actually go together. So I was a little bit disappointed that the collection didn't pick up both of them, but they are to represent rebirth and dreams. So I think it's quite literal what their meanings are. It's just, you know, being free, being and also being released from any pain. So I do have, I'm just going to briefly go through some future collections I have, just to show you a different range of my work. I have some things that I haven't minted yet, and you can still see sort of the themes. I love the desert. I lived in Morocco for a long time, and the Middle East, and so I have a kind of affinity for any of the deserts. And you can see there's always the cloud themes, moon, stars. This piece is quite interesting. I had a kind of idea of seeing what would it be like if you had that. I don't know, it's like a near-death experience, what it would be like, or what if you were in a dream and you see yourself. So this kind of like, what was it like to be on the other side? So I think that would be really cool, because I often wonder, what is it like to be somewhere else? Is there a mirror of ourselves somewhere? I think there is, but you know, I can only see it in my mind, so I just have to create it. I have some more pieces. I'm not sure where to mint these yet. I have no idea what to do with half of the work I have at the moment, because it's so expensive to put them on the blockchain. But I try to keep them all in a collection. As I said, I love the desert, and I'd like to keep the themes together. But these are really special to me, just always crossing through, breaking through something, going into portals, going into dreams. There's sacred geometry. So it's really part of my vibe, I guess. I have a lot of portrait work. I like to do portraits of people. I actually recreated this for a client with her face in it, so it was interesting to see. I had a lot of people like this piece, The Healer. So I'm hoping to mint these sort of portraits eventually in the new year. And then I have some more cosmic pieces. Briefly show you them. I also have some graphic work. I am a graphic designer, so this looks a lot different from my work, but it's not different for me. I do have a lot of pieces that have graphic elements within them that you might have noticed. There's lots of sacred geometry or snakes within some of my work, but they're hidden. I'm thinking to release these quite soon, actually, before the new year. And then I have some basic stuff from the moon phase, very, very basic, but actually sold these. I sell these as prints in an art shop. So I just thought, hey, I'd throw these in here just for fun. I have some lunation pieces about eclipse seasons. I'm really into how eclipses are really how they affect us. So I'm very into astrology. If I haven't said that, I really find it fascinating. And then I have a few more landscapes here just to show you the range of my work. I actually have a print of that behind me here. So yeah, I really love working with just the abstract collections. I don't want to take up too much time. Oh, I have these mudras. These are yoga mudras. Oh, and I have them duplicated. Of course I do, because I was doing this really fast. There's an extra one, but I really find it interesting meditation. So I did these a few years ago, and yeah, it's probably going to put them up on the blockchain and then in the next few years. So that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Lindsay. That's
You're
a great
welcome. I
presentation.
tried to do that fast, so I didn't take up too much time.
You're fine. I think we're actually got some extra time now. So if there are any questions for Lindsay, now would be a great time to ask them. So either in the chat and I'll get to them, or you could unmute yourself or raise your hand and then unmute yourself. Either works. But let me just go through the chat real quick.
I had a question.
Yeah, sure.
I'm new here, so but I was wondering if you could, Lindsay, if you could pick one of yours and sort of walk us through your process a little bit. Like pick one of your.
Sure. I almost think I should maybe even show a process video, but I don't have one loaded. I should have had one ready. Well, basically, would you like me to share again?
Yeah, you could share.
Let's see. Okay, let's go back to this. Let's see. I'm going to actually talk about this one here, Beyond the Desert. What's interesting is, okay, so I use iPad Pro. I use Procreate, but I always will start and finish with Photoshop. So I start with Photoshop to clean all my elements. So I have the desert element underneath here, and I'd have to clean up everything. So these cloud layers that you see here, there's actually, I think, if I'm not correct, I'm not going to be able to find it. I believe I have about 15 layers of these clouds. So it's an image of clouds. And I want it, as I said in the beginning, I'd like it to look like it's seamless. So I don't want it like, I want the clouds to actually look like they're underneath or floating and not just pieced in. So I use, I'll take the picture of the clouds and I will duplicate the layer several times, and I'll erase paint, if that makes sense. So instead of using a paintbrush, I'll use in Procreate the eraser brush, but I'm able to choose different brushes to kind of get the blending technique. And I paint using the eraser. So it's like subtractive painting, really. If you know, like the old masters, how they would like paint the canvas, the raw umber and then scrape out. And then, so I do like kind of subtractive work. So that's how I do a lot of these pieces. For me, everything has to be super seamless. So it does, like most of my work has like at least minimum 70 layers of work. The more basic layers, these are not basic at all. This, I'd say with this piece probably only has about 20 layers. There's a background piece, an earth piece, and then there's a cloud piece. And there's like lots of cloud layers to get that technique that it's blended in. So it's not just pasted on. But basically I start with research. I research a lot because I do collage. So I have to, go through public domain images because I have to make sure everything is, copyright free to use. Or if it's my own work, I used to do a lot of photography myself, but just since the pandemic, it's not possible for me to go out and shoot or travel even to get these cool, pictures. So I can get lots of clouds. Photographing clouds is very easy, but not the rest. So, sourcing images is the first step. And sometimes like I have to work really fast because if an idea comes in my head, I have to just throw it together and then I'll build on it. It may take me weeks, but I'll have to throw something together to make sure that I remember what that concept was in the beginning. Yeah, all of my techniques have that subtractive layered look. So there's always like a top layer and there's several layers going back. If I had a perspective, it would be going back like that. This woman isn't actually here. She's from an old painting I found. And this water isn't really there. I just put it there. So there's just, it's me trying to come up with these concepts. So for example, I made this thinking of a water element, a water astrological element. And that's why there's an element of water here. And I believe I made this for Pisces. If you know what Pisces are water, dreamers, fish. So dreamy symbolizes their dreams, and then the water symbolizes their element. So I have, my process is all about the concept and then bringing everything together. Technically, it's a lot of like layers, cutting out things, blending things, painting. I paint all these like lines here, add little elements here. If it's a person's face, I really love doing this type of work on the faces. That's really fun for me to kind of create like sort of this mask for people. I also love the movie Avatar. So if you know that movie, obviously we all know the movie Avatar. I always think about what if we were in those movies. So yeah, this is a really, really old painting back in here. And I've taken all the elements out of the painting and cut them out and painted them back on top. So the base layer of the painting's there, the man and the clouds, the man, the clouds, and then elements of the painting. Even you can't really see it, but there's a little bee here. This bee should technically be flat underneath him, but I've isolated the bee, taken him off and put him on top of him, but it's still in the same position where it would be on the canvas behind him. So it's just all about working with what I have, but making it look 3D, even though it's 2D. I don't know, I've taught myself a lot of things. I did go to, I went to Toronto School of Art. And when I did my master's of digital art, it was mostly, just learning, Photoshop, like learning the system, not necessarily learning my style. So my style has really developed since 2013, since I had my son. When you're a mom and you're with a kid and there's a break, I spend most of my time making art. So I was lucky to be able to do that. So, and he's pretty cool. So he's inspired me. That's a long-winded answer to your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I think we got a solid insight into your process, at least, even though you didn't have a chance to actually like do it or show it, but I think we got a good idea.
Thanks.
I have a question about your choice of platforms. Is there some particular reason why you would mint one piece on one platform versus the other? And I've been also thinking about, I'm on Foundation right now, but I was thinking about moving to OpenSea for like still images versus time-based work, or, I just was interested in why you selected the platforms that you mint on, and if you think there's any particular differences, among them.
Well, for me, it was just a learning process in the beginning. So Foundation, I started because I had an invitation right away at the beginning. And I just went, okay, I didn't know anything. And I just started going, but it was expensive. It was really expensive. And I think in the total, when you think about that last fee, even releasing the fee, it could be a potential fourth fee. There's 3 fees for sure. There's a potential 4th fee if the collector doesn't release the work. Doesn't sit well with me at all, even though I've made enough to like mint again there, but I don't feel like spending my money on gas fees. I don't think anybody should be spending that much money on gas. So I thought about their collections and staying there, but it's just a lot. I have applied to Super Rare. I know it's a little bit harder, and I think they only take brands now and people who have like agents. And I've heard some stories that it's really difficult to get on Super Rare, which is kind of a bummer. But Maker's Place was, Maker's was the most recent place I put things on. And I put that entire Cloud Dreamer collection because I wanted to finally put out something that was in one big collection. But again, I paid at least $100 to mint each one. And I still think that's a lot of money. Known Origin, still the same sort of thing. I wanted to try. It's like you get on and you try. And I still think it's a slow moving platform. I don't see a lot of traction on that platform. And even with Maker's Place, you can't, the first month they featured me. So I had a lot of people following me and I had I was obviously on the front page, so I think that's how my collector saw me there. And now it's pretty much crickets. I like and don't like OpenSea. Like I have a collection on OpenSea, and I'm considering minting a few pieces on OpenSea, those graphic black pieces that I showed at the end, the ones that are very different from my work, because I don't mind releasing them because I sell them as prints at the moment. So to me, they're okay to test with. OpenSea is great because of the gasless minting, and I like that. But then I worry about the contract because it's a shared contract. So that's the only thing. And so moving forward, I'm holding back a little bit. I don't know where. That's why I have all this work and I still haven't minted, because I don't know where to put it. There's some Bitcoin platforms coming out. There's Coinbase. There's some Polygon. So I'm really open to see what's happening. And I know there's been that FOMO to rush and mint, but I think we have to really be careful and not to just spend our money and make profit, give other people our profits for what, that makes any sense. So I don't really have the best answer for that, but I think it's just experimentation and just doing what's best, that's cost effective too. I don't think we should all be like spending our money.
With Foundation, I saw that they were introduced collections recently. Do you know if that's similar to OpenSea, where you would mint a whole bunch of work at one time, or is it basically you pay a gas to create the collection, and every single piece you mint, you also pay gas fees to add them to the collection?
What I do know is one of the emails that I read was, be aware that it's going to be more expensive to mint. So there's not going to be any gasless minting with that. So it's going to be, if it costs you $100 to list, are you going to pay $100 to list four pieces and $100 each? Sorry, $100 each to mint. Sorry, to list, and then $100 each to mint. That's crazy. I hope it's not like that. I should test it out, but you can only test it out when you're actually there looking at the gas. So how do you know? I guess it's good to ask other people, but I don't agree with that. They're already making a lot of money off of artists, so they should be helping artists more, I think. And rant.
That's fair. That's very fair. And the subject of NFTs and just how cost prohibitive it can be for a lot of artists, especially just starting out.
Yeah,
it's very there.
it is.
I don't know. I feel that is actually a subject that we could probably go on and on and on about, if we got us let ourselves get carried away with it.
Yeah.
Did anyone else have any other questions for Lindsay before we move on to our third presentation for this afternoon, or this session? Or we'll circle back around to the after party if you're still sticking around. But with that, I guess, thank you so much for presenting, Lindsay, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. And now, last but definitely not least, we got Nina. Are you ready to present? Oh, you're muted, by the way.
Yes, I'm ready. I need to share my screen.
Okay.
And share the sound. And without further ado, I'm going to play, I'm going to screen the very last thing that I made for you.
All right.
Share sound. Where is share sound?
It should be in the little bar where it says that you're sharing.
You screen sharing?
Oh, I think it comes up. You might have to stop the share and then reshare. It comes up when you first click the share screen. There's a little checkbox, and then you have to check that and then hit the start.
Oh. Hello?
Yep, we're still here.
Okay. Gee.
If you're not sharing a sound from the actual computer, like the video sound, then you don't need to check the box if you're
Yeah,
just
I
sharing
am.
a sound. Oh, you are.
I am.
Okay. You might need to stop the share and then hit
Oh,
share
okay.
screen again. And then there should
Okay.
be a checkbox on that prompt, and then you hit the start sharing after you check it.
You uh, hmm. You are using enhanced encryption.
Oh. Hmm.
Dock to top. Why would I be using in share in move? Should I try to play it and see if the sound comes through?
Yeah, go ahead and
That's a
try.
good idea.
Oh. Mm. Oh.
Technical difficulties do happen. They're actually par for the course with our meetings sometimes. So it does happen. No pressure or anything.
Maybe she, oh.
Nina,
Oh,
I'm not sure, but you might have to go to play.
Yeah, that button on the top left, right above the slide.
That will play from the very start.
Oh.
Right, but I'm not sure in this mode that you can play the video in Keynote, having worked with someone recently on
Here
it.
it goes.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you hear it? Do you hear the sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the sound playing back on your local computer through your microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
We can
how
still
else
hear
do
it.
I do it?
I think that'll probably work.
Yeah,
okay.
for the time being, I think that's that's as good as we're gonna get for the moment. So at least hear some of it.
Mm. You know what?
You could export to a .move, and that might
Or
do
if
it.
you have the video like in a folder somewhere, you could play it directly too.
You know, if you've selected the slide, you hit that play at the top.
I'm
it'll
gonna
play
play it from my photos. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Happened to me many a time.
No worries. To be an artist that works with technology, it does not behave the way we want it to sometimes. So it's like that.
If you take the sections that you want to play, and it'll go really quickly, just go into Keynote and click on those slides and then just export as movie, a .move. And I think that would work. And it happens quickly.
I wish I could be of more assistance, but I don't use a Mac,
Do
unfortunately.
you see a share sound in the bottom
Keynote.
left-hand corner of your selection, your share selection window?
What's that?
Do you see a share sound button or icon in the
No, I don't.
bottom left? The bottom left of your share.
Move to bottom. It says move to bottom.
So where you know I have an unmute, there's a little up caret arrow there.
Unmute, yeah.
Okay, the next to it's the up caret, and there should be, if you
Oh.
tap that, you'll see a whole lot more options.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so select speaker, jump set. You should be able to
Built-in
see.
output. Which one should I click on?
You probably want to do on your share screen, on share screen, there's a share audio option under
Audio settings?
yes. You want to be able to talk over it too at the same time. Yeah, that's, yeah, you'd have to keep flipping between built-in and headphone and microphone. But you could do jump to desktop audio up under the, to your right, next to test speaker. There's the
Yes.
menu there.
Built-in.
Yeah,
Built-in.
if you tap that, click that, around there.
Yeah.
You don't have jump to desktop audio, so it's probably the version. Yeah, there's options in the latest version of Zoom to jump to desktop audio or jump to desktop microphone, which allow you to switch back and forth between them.
Oh,
Well, we tried.
we tried.
Nina?
Maybe,
Yeah,
Nina,
it's
maybe put
loading up.
this aside.
It's loading up. Maybe. Oh,
Nina, I
thought
was going to
maybe I
say,
could-
maybe put this aside for a moment and go through your history. If you have
oh,
a
okay.
retrospective, that would be, I think, very interesting to see.
Yes, I
If
have.
a lot of the other stuff is easier to show, maybe switch to that for the moment. I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Although, you know, Nina, I think if you just hit play at the top, you've selected the slide. Have
Yeah.
you tried that? It should play from the slide you've selected. So
Oh,
just try
that's
it.
what that's what Roz suggested.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But it's not playing.
Maybe you have to go
Or-
to play again and just select, see what, hold down play and see
Oh, here it
what-
comes.
Oh, good.
Oh, it stopped. Oh,
You
Oh.
almost had it there.
oh,
Go back to play again. I think you have to be in play mode, up to play, at the top. Or, yeah, maybe that play, that might work.
And roll your cursor down under there at the lower end. See if the control pops up.
oh. Oh, I want you so much to see this.
Give it a click.
Is the video published online anywhere, Nina? You could always paste a link into the chat.
Maybe click it again, Nina. It might start now. It might take a second to load. So why don't click that little arrow you're on again. See if it plays.
Oh,
Yeah, the one you were on. Just click it again, toggle it. I don't know.
It looks like it's not responding for some reason.
Mhm.
I would maybe take your presentation from the top.
oh, okay. Okay, all right. take the next one then, right? And I'll post this somehow later. I don't know what to do.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe work with Davo a little bit before, then, and you do it again another time, you know, where you guys have kind of tested it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, let's try the next one.
Do you want to start maybe from the very beginning, Nina? Just to, you know, go
Well,
from
that was
or-
the beginning.
Oh, I see.
That
They're
was the
not
beginning.
in.
I began at the end. I mean, I
see.
did it from the beginning, and then it was my whole history, and then it came to my last work that I did was at the very end. So I said, well, no, I think I'll do it in reverse. I'll start with what I did last and go back to the beginning. So
Now, Nina, I know maybe I'm not understanding, but if you went up to the light blue at the very top and went to play, and under play, see where it says arrange view? No, above that play, go up further, higher. Keynote, go over to play, slide format, arrange view, play in the very top menu in that light blue. Just go all the way across to where it says play.
oh yeah,
And if you hold that down and you say play slideshow, you can click through it with your arrow buttons till you get to where that might work. Maybe try it before we give this up for another time. Just see, give it a second, and then maybe give it a minute, and just hit your back and your forward and backward key on your computer keyboard to advance or to play it.
it'll go to the.
Well, maybe go back now. Go back one and see if it'll play it. Give it a second, or click on it, or see if that, you know, as Nina number 2 was helping you, maybe it'll come up. I'm not sure why it's not playing. Oh well. Trying to help. These things happen.
Well, yeah, I guess I'll post it next time, or post it someplace, or how about this one? So let's see if this one. Oh, how do I make this go away?
You have to go back to play and I think you got out of play where we were before. Up in the top where you go to play, and then underneath it says play slideshow. I think you're out of play.
How do I get rid of this dock? Do
you want just the image to be the full screen?
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we could see it. Did you want to get rid of the presenter view, like the text?
This dock thing here.
Yeah, I think if you just hit play, it'll go to the full screen view of the image, and you wouldn't see the other stuff. Or
well,
the play button up. Oh.
Unseen, unheard brings to light from darkness the metaphorical images of the invisible pervasive viruses penetrating our world. By exposing pictures of the void and rendering these transformations perceptible, a sequence of configurations emerges, first sweeping the earth, unfolding up to the sky and beyond into spatial trajectories, returning to earth, blending with the human and hybrid form. These are very low frequency sounds. I just heard Nina saying what to do, but what did you say, Nina, what to do about the dot move? Oh, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we're still here.
Oh, is Nina Yankowitz still there?
Yes, she is currently muted though.
Oh, what did you say, Nina, to do with the with the?
Okay, I was trying to unmute, I'm sorry. I was saying that if you choose, you go through your keynote and click on the ones that you want to show. And there's also to the right, it'll tell you how many seconds you want between each slide. you can export it to a dot move. And that might be easier to do, maybe. I mean, I used to do that. I don't know what version you have of,
I
Keynote.
think that, okay, well, I'll move on and I'll send out the last one in another way. Okay, unseen. I changed. I went from the movie. I went from the stills to the movie and then back again. And I published this a book of 24 pages, 4 columns each, four shots per column. And there's 24 pages and it comes in a book form. Yeah. These are deeply glitched images from the darkest of slides that revealed colors and forms with surreal qualities and magical connotations. And it was all about the virus seeping into the world and unbeknownst to us. And before that, I did, I was playing with animation and just playing around and studying animation, studying ways in which to express myself. And this used to have sound, but I took the sound off. And there's I was commissioned to do the video Gray Matters with music by Laura Ortman. And I began to think of the origins of the universe, of the smallest black speck of dust, and how it might have formed by centrifugal force into our galaxy. It was through this contemplation and meditation that these images evolved. And also thinking of the universal body parts, mammals, things like that. And this was an investigation, complete investigation, but it was in 2016 that I did this. So I hope to be able to still show you the new images. They're filled with discovery and such. Okay, I'm gonna show you where you can find a mini retrospective on No Heel Bjorn Magnolian's site. It's called The Hindsight is 2020, and he's sponsoring this little mini retrospective. And there's a couple of ones that I wanted to show you from 2016 to. Okay. And all the sound is my own. Oh, set up professional audio and audio settings. Okay. And showing you where I came from. In 1990, I did a video called The Investigation into the Creative Process. I forced myself to talk while sculpting a model, but when it came to time to concentrate on the details of her face, I could no longer speak. I wish this doc would go away. But so it was my realization that it's very hard to speak while you're making art, unless you're a poet and whatever. This proved it. As I say, I never looked at the model directly. I only looked at the monitor and with the clay on the monitor as it is now, as you see it. And then when I got to the details right here, I couldn't speak anymore. It was all nonverbal. It's your right brain takes over when you're creating, and there you are. Now, here at the Rico Maresca Gallery in New York, Alice sat here was a very early drone mobile data collection and surveillance project. I wish I could get rid of this doc. A surveillance project which enabled web visitors or passersby to personally view the interior of the Code Show, curated by Roz Diamond, our very own Roz Diamond, at the Rico Maresca Gallery. Its key component was a telerobotic camera, Alice's Eye, and Alice's Eye was mounted on a wireless rolling chair. Web users or passersby could control the telerobotic camera's movement remotely, either by directing a person riding around on her, the web user's chauffeur, or via touchpads in the front window of the gallery through one web interface. The touchpads surrounded a closed circuit monitor. These touchpads closed circuit monitor with a camera at the top, fed back passersby images, dissolving them over the interior of the gallery so that they could virtually feel a part of the show. The video images captured were made available to web viewers in real time. Web participants could also point the camera at the rear view mirror on the handlebars, and that identified the face of anyone riding the chair to web viewers. Sobell and Hartzell, this is Emily Hartzell and I collaborated on Park Bench together at NYU Center for Advanced Technology. And that's how this occurred, their collaboration. Describe the piece as a passage between physical and cyberspace. We converge from webside and street side, explore parallel spaces separated by glass, and peer through the membrane at each other's representations. And then in 1999, we did a Park Bench at Banff Center for the Arts. Web seances, web seance brainwave drawings illustrates Park Bench's commitment to address physical disconnectedness of the information age by creating network seances that connect physical and cyberspace via neural terral presence and meditation. The medium is truly the medium in these seances in which a web-based artificially intelligent chatterbot leads the seance. The website gives the audience a place on the web to join hands, keeps track of those present and lets them know who else is there with them. And this was the eye of a person in Banff and the eye of a person in New York with Heather Wagner. And the more the globes showed up on the screen, the more participants were present, were seen. And in the interest of time, I'm going to go to, this is another, I'm going to go to my first, this is Silent Conversations with Anne Bean, and a seance in Paris, in France, between her on the boat in the English Channel and me and Anders Manson at the Chateau de Sassy, making 1-minute drawings every 5 minutes, every 4 minutes for an hour before the eclipse. And these are the drawings from the Chateau and from the English Channel. And you can see how they are connected to each other. It was amazing. And if you go on this site, in my site, in Park Bench, you'll find this timeline and you'll find other ones just as amazing as that. And there was this article in the paper, and these were conversations, silent conversations we had in 1978. And we made drawings from our silent conversations. And these are very early computer graphics of the combination of, well, I'll play the tape. Hopefully this one will play.
Nina Sobell has been intrigued by the idea of being able to capture the emittance of electrical impulses by the brain and transposing them into a graphic image since 1973. She began to collaborate with systems engineer Michael Trivich. On the monitor, 2 people were able to see their physical as well as mental image. They were able to create one composite brainwave drawing in real time. Sobell was determined to devise a non-competitive, creative environment geared to home TV viewers who could create an active rather than passive TV viewing experience and enhance their ability to communicate. Dr. Barry Sturman of the Sepulveda Veterans Administration Hospital in California offered access to equipment. As the director of the neuropsychology lab, he was most interested in the psychosociological aspects of the piece. Electrodes were attached to the occipital region of the brain, the visual cortex of 2 participants. They sat comfortably in front of a monitor which displayed their faces and the superimposed composite brainwave information. The real-time Lisa-Zhu pattern changed in accordance with the brainwave activity. When both people put out the same brainwave, it formed an irregular circular configuration. Nonverbal communication between the participants was the objective. When one person was distracted, it appeared as distortion horizontally or vertically, depending upon the axis, which displayed his or her brainwave pattern. The results were averaged through a PDP-10 computer and proved that two people could influence each other's mind states nonverbally.
I'm going to just interrupt that because you can see that on my Vimeo page. This is a slide from Christina Albu's discussion of invisible entanglements, art, distant connections, and biofeedback at Ars Electronica. And the following is from an article in Camera Obscura Journal 2020. Telepathic brainwave drawings, when both people emitted the same brainwave simultaneously. Can you see my arrow? I hope so. It made a circular configuration. And when they diverged, the circle distorted horizontally or vertically, depending on the neural frequency of individual participants. So here they come together as a circle, and then here's the horizontal or the vertical distortion. Yeah. And this was an excerpt from the Brain Art book edited by Anton Nigel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anton. I know you're here. I thought of myself as an electronic medium, and since I was working with video, I sought to create an internal and external video portrait of two people dissolving images of their brainwave oscillations over their faces as their interaction was being simultaneously videotaped. I invited participants to engage in telepathic communication as I began concentrating on expressing visually their synchronous and asynchronous brainwave patterns. Today, together with systems engineer Mike Trivich, we created one of the first visual interfaces for two people to communicate non-verbally. And I think that it'll start from the beginning if I play it again. Yeah, no, okay.
Nina Sobell.
All right. I don't know whether to stop or to.
The link between sophisticated EEG equipment and the Apple computer. After extensive testing, an environment was open to the public at the Long Beach Museum of Art in the Artist and the Computer show. A computer program was created by Kong Lu, which resembled an electroencephalogram. Colors were keyed to each different mind state. The computer displayed an image showing previous brainwave activity, as well as the immediate responses. This allowed the participants to view their deeper previous states, as well as the current patterns, which were altered by the activity of looking at the screen.
Okay.
And hopefully detect.
I'll stop sharing my screen now.
And another computer that would generate.
Unless I can. I'll just try it and. I just thought hope beyond. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. The sound is going. The sound is going. The image isn't going. The sound is going. The image isn't going. I can't believe this. Gee.
Well, it was wonderful anyway, Nina.
Oh, hi.
Show
It was a
that
valiant
again
effort.
another time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Are you
Nina,
done?
I have to show something to you. Look what I'm holding up. This is something I own of Nina's, and I don't want to get off of what she's talking about, but she's pretty diverse in what she can do. This is like a beautiful golden sculpture of, and I always think of them as like the Venus of Willendorf, like the earliest primordial, image of womankind. And I love this little thing. Anyway, thanks.
Are you done
Oh.
sharing, Nina? Or did you want your screen still up?
I was just thinking maybe it was on my desktop and I could just get it off of there, but oh, there it is. There it is. It's playing.
All right. It was the way.
That's all, folks. Hello?
Oh, we're still here. We're just all on mute, but thank you.
Ah,
And I'm glad you were able to actually get it working by the end of it, actually.
thank
I know
you.
I know it was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, yeah. Can I see everybody again? I stopped sharing my screen, right?
I could actually do that for you. Hold on one second.
Okay.
All right. And we're
Okay.
back.
Oh, swell. Nice to see everybody again. I'm very happy that you were able to see that, Roz.
Oh, she just actually had to leave because she had a poetry meeting.
Oh, because
But-
Tai-Chi was a part of the piece.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she did say that she said your video is like paint and poetry, which is part she had to go because of a poetry meeting. So but thank you so much, Nina.
Oh, thank you. I'm very happy you had a chance to see it.
Yeah, I am too. All right. Unfortunately, though, we are actually right at the end of our like regular scheduled recording time. So, but if anyone is willing to stick around after, after give our little outro and talk with Nina or ask her questions about our presentation, feel free to do so. But with
Yeah,
that,
ask me questions.
yes. But since we are at the end of our scheduled recording time, I will close things out here for the formal part of the presentation and salon. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time and your patience through some of the difficult parts that we had. But it was all worth it, I'd say. And happy end of the year. Happy New Year. And we will see each other again next time. I think our next meeting day is January the 3rd, 4th, 3rd, somewhere around there. 4th.
4th, yep.
All right. But anyway, again, happy holidays, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Hi, Kirsten.
Thank you, everyone, for presenting.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you for bearing with me.
And we'll be signing off unless Colin has anything else to share by the end.
I don't think so. I'm sorry if there was anyone that wanted to give a quick update that we kind of were out of time, but you're certainly welcome to hang out after we stop the recording.
Right. All right. I guess I'll close this out.
Thank you, Davo, as always, for moderating. And fingers crossed that you'll be able to, keep going once you start your new gig.
I'll make time.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Well, signing out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's a wrap.